Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here. I am going to do another day in the life video. The last one was pretty successful. I had a lot of feedback from you saying you wanted more. So here we are with a return to the day in the life of ETCG. And it's already starting out to be something of a challenge because cameraman Brian is late and he's going to be very late. So we're going to get started without him. Going to put some stuff away, turn some lights on, and then we'll talk about what we got on the docket for the day. All right, this is what we got on tap for you today. As you'll notice, the shop has some familiar faces. Yes, Barbara's van is back. This time, she said her AC isn't working. It came in the other day and I checked it out. It appears the high side fitting had leaked out all the refrigerant, but it's kind of a weird fitting and I wasn't able to replace just the Schrader valve. Yeah, the continuing saga of Barbara's van, but Car Part Kings was kind enough to hook us up with a receiver dryer. Yes, that's right. I figured, well, if the system's empty, I might as well just take advantage and put the receiver dryer in. Also, there's, like I said, they have some weird fittings on these Chryslers, and I can't just unscrew the Schrader valve and screw another one in. I have a whole other Schrader valve here, or a whole other high side valve here, and I'm hoping that that is going to cure the problem because that's where I believe the leak is. Also, from the last video, just coincidentally, the Accord with the AC problem is back. And yes, I believe I have that figured out. I've got a part coming for that today, along with my friend Jeff, who's bringing me a car to check out with some brake noise. Now, we've already kind of had a cancellation today. Was also going to do a wheel bearing on a 2005 Ford Explorer, but it looks like that's going to be put off for a little bit. I'm actually working on getting a shop press, and I kind of want to get that first because I don't want to be beating on bearings and show you another video where I'm just beating bearings up. There are better ways of doing things, people. So I'm going to see if I can work on getting me a shop press for that video. But I'm sure there's plenty to do to get this day going and things happening. Plus, we've got sort of a mystery with my friend Jeff's car. He's also bringing me some of his camera equipment that he's looking for me to repair as well. So we're going to have sort of an eclectic mix of things for you. And we'll just see sort of how it works out. And then we'll scold Brian for being late. It'll be fun. This is new. Might as well check the mail and get a drink of water while we're waiting for Jeff and Brian to show up. Google wanted to sell me stuff. Digital tire gauge I'm going to be checking out. And now we wait. Might as well do some social networking. I want to get the unknown car checked out first, which is the one that Jeff is bringing. That'll let me know where everything else is going. Everything else is checked out, and it's merely a matter of replacing those parts and hoping my diagnosis was correct. And then, of course, there's that saga of emails that we talked about in the last one. If you have an email address that's out there on the web, like mine is on my website, you tend to get a lot of junk mail. Hey, Jeff.
Buddy. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good.
What do we have today?
Got a tripod to get fixed and a part for a Honda that you're fixing for a friend.
Yep.
And a brake job for this.
Is it a brake job?
Brake job.
So you're getting like noise or whatever when you...
No, she had a flat tire and the guy at the place said the brakes are down about 85%. So I said, bring it in to the expert. He's the gun that knows.
You don't need to oversell it, Jeff. All right, so we'll just get a look at the brakes. I'm going to drive you back in this just so that I can feel everything, see how it's going, if that's cool. What's going on with the tripod?
Well, the tripod, it broke, and I was just going to see if you could put a little expert weld on it.
Expert weld? Have you seen the videos where I weld?
I just need this piece here to be solid because it's broke. I got another piece for it, but it just needs to be tack welded.
So you want me to give you as much length as possible?
Yeah. I need all I can get.
All right, well, that shouldn't be a problem. All right, well, let's get the shop closed up and I'll ride you back. Look who decided to show up.
It happens sometimes.
It's 3:30, dude.
No, it's not. Let's get on with your shop day.
Fine. Well, we're back with Jeff's car to find Brian. Hey, Brian. and we need to bring it inside, take a look at it. I did feel a brake pulsation. This is why I'm glad I drove his car when I drove him back. So we're gonna have to deal with that somehow, either through machining or replacing the front rotors. So there's a cricket in the shop. I'm gonna feed you to Boris. Well, first I'm gonna close the garage door, but note, do not bend over to put lift arms underneath vehicles with your phone in your pocket, or else it will fall out. Look, it's the Eric the Car Guy show, not the cricket on the lift show. Fly, be free. Circulation. So earlier, like I said, people send me stuff, and recently I've been sent some gloves from Ironclad, and in order to do a review on them, I want to actually use them before I do the review. So I've got like this box of gloves that I've just sort of been picking through, trying like each pair. Today, why don't we try the mechanics gloves, see how they work out. They said they were 80% gone. Let's see if I agree with that assessment. "85% gone" is what they said. Now, the brakes are low, and yeah, maybe I can agree with 15% remaining. Now the question becomes, is there enough left on these rotors to machine, because I did have a brake pulsation, or are we just gonna flat out replace them? I need to find rotor specs. I need to find out how much meat is left on these rotors, whether or not we can machine them or not. And for that, I'm gonna use the dang old internet. Minimum rotor thickness, 1998 Mazda 626. Stupid gloves. They're sort of working. Stupid ads. Minimum thickness is 0.866. These gloves are getting in my way at the moment. They're not my rubber gloves that, well, fit like rubber gloves, but they are useful and no sweat. Towards the top, it's going to be thinner. This is millimeters, so I need to convert my inches to millimeters. There's an app for that. 22 millimeters. That's what we need. That's minimum thickness. And according to this, there's 23.87. So 23.87 or 82 right there. Let's check the other side. Yeah, 22.84. I think we can machine these rotors. So now we just need to get some brake pads. I also need to get some other parts. I'm gonna need some refrigerant for Barbara's van and a couple of other things I can't quite think of at the moment, but I will in a minute. I need brake pads for a 1998 Mazda 626. Has a 4-cylinder in it. Yes, front pads. I need 3 cans of refrigerant and also a universal, actually give me a couple of universal battery terminals. No, that should do it. Half-hour work, thanks. All right, bye. Kind of sucks when your parts guy takes a day off. Whatever. While we're waiting, I say, we see if we can weld that monopod. Here's another mission which I have chosen to accept. This is not a tripod, it's actually a monopod. There's just one. But he needs it to be one piece again. And I'm honestly not sure if this is aluminum or if it's some kind of steel. It's pretty light. A lot of times these are made from aluminum just to keep them light, but I think a good place to start is take it over to the wire wheel and get us a nice clean surface to weld with. That looks like aluminum to me, especially the way the wire wheel was digging into it. Or aluminium, as some of you say. We will join them. We will make them better than before. Here's the thing, there's some slop in here, like over one side or the other. I want to see if I can get this as straight as possible when I do this, because nothing would be more disappointing than to have this thing like leaning over to one side as you're using it. So I want to try to center it up best I can. Cameraman Brian pointed out something just a moment ago, and that is use of time in these situations. As far as I've got a half hour before my parts show up, Yes, I could be machining rotors, but I also want to go to lunch, so I'm looking for the easy low-hanging fruit. Figured I'd take care of this, which I hope is easy low-hanging fruit. Finish up Jeff's car, move on to fixing the air conditioning in the Honda, and then the air conditioning in Barbara's van. Then we'll see where we're at. For now, we got to switch this welder up to work with aluminum to figure out how to get this in here straight. This isn't going to be heavy welding, so I'm not so concerned about my welding shirt. But if I burn my arms, I'll change that. Got me an idea. Probably should clean like a little area just down a little bit lower. Take it over to the wire wheel. Do that real quick just so I have a place for my ground. So what, do I just hold it in place? How do we solve this here problem? Okay, the plan I think is going to be rather simple, hopefully rather simple, is I'm just going to hold it in place and I'm going to tack it in that one spot. Just give it a quick zap, hold it together, and then I'll have it where I can manipulate it a little bit and move it, do what I can to get it straight and level, zap the other side, and then just do these other corners, and then possibly connect everything when I'm done. Boy, this aluminum stuff is a whole different ball game. Is it welded? Yes. Is it ugly? Also yes. But I think it's pretty straight, not perfect. But I think a little grinding will help clean it up a little bit. We'll hit it with some paint. But I think the intent of making it into a usable monopod again, that dream has been realized. Let's grind it. All right, that's what I did. This is actually my first time welding aluminum. It's way different than welding steel. I'm told you got to get it clean as clean can get. Maybe I didn't accomplish that, not real sure. I'll just wait for it to cool for a little bit, hit it with a little primer slash black paint, and all those sins will be hidden. Gonna do some paint on the monopod, but you know what? I should probably check to see if these parts that came in for the Accord, if they are correct. Because if they're not, well. All right, we're good. We'll walk out back, do a quick paint job. I needed a lot more than this, but you know what? I am.
Are you asking you receive?
Right. Are these 16s or 12s? All right, well, I may need more. We'll save one of these rather large battery terminals to repair this Mazda. And that's lunch. We're out of here. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Well, Brian and I were out. My tires arrived for the Vigor, which I'll be putting on later this week. They're really pretty. And we picked up some more refrigerant for Barbara's van. Yay! Those are some sexy looking tires. The Vigor's gonna ride like it's on a cloud. I've already done the suspension. I'll do these, and I'm gonna actually see if I need to machine or replace the front rotors. I'm gonna measure them and find out. Do one or the other. Should be fun. But that's another video. Now, back to our regularly scheduled video, already in progress. Let's get the brakes off this thing, get it done, make it go away. The rest of the stuff we have today is not that difficult, I believe. Well, the wild card's gonna be the Accord and the AC. If my thoughts of shortcutting the whole thing work, will be good. If not, well.
You have a fan.
Yes, I've got one. I know that there's one fan that I've got. I'll be happy with that. Old Eric the Car Guy's got one fan.
It's not true.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's my biggest fan. Did I mention this was a 98 Mazda 626? Let's do this. There's always arguments about this. Eric, why do you do it that way? Just push it back up into the master cylinder. I've been doing that for 20 years. Well, okay. That is one way of doing it. I do it this way. It's because this way I do it. And this way I do it. And I'm not telling you you're doing your way wrong. So please, don't tell me I'm doing it wrong. Now, was that so much more difficult than pushing it back up into the master cylinder? Now, works great when the bleeder works. Bleeder doesn't work, well, not so much. So I will grant you that. I did have trouble on Barbara's van doing that because the bleeder was, well, junk. I wouldn't say that this was an imminent danger, but I'm also going to say that it's not a bad idea. Old pads. One rotor. Two rotors. To the brake lathe, grow cover. Like a lot of you suggested grow cover, but the weird thing is I'd already bought it when you made those suggestions. And the reason being is I got a grill for the meetup and I got a cover for the grill for the meetup. And I said, grow covers might work for this stuff too. And it does, actually. Flipping excellent. I have the quick change thing on here. Ooh, a little bit of surface rust. I'm kind of glad you're getting used today. Oh no, not cool. First, I will clean the hats of the rotors so that they sit flush. Cameraman Brian's question is, why are we machining these instead of replacing them? Because we can, because we have this. There will be a full featured video on this and machining rotors at some point. It's a day in the life video, so we're not going for that today. That being said, I have, this is the first time that I am using this brake lathe, and I'm excited. I think once I get the first one figured out, it'll be figured out. Actually, I'm just gonna do that. Yep, I figured it out. This is my first time using this machine, so I am learning a little. Wow, that does a nice job. Yeah, that'll do nicely. Let's do a finishing touch that I'll throw in here. Cleans off the rest of the junk. Sometimes I put a directional sand on it too. I'm not doing that today, but sometimes I do that. But yeah. Oh wait, you're opposite. One freshly machined rotor. We'll just take that over and hang it right on the car. Now it's time for round 2.
What's that for?
Anti-vibration. You don't want your rotors singing while you're cutting them. If they sing when you're cutting them, then it's going to leave chatter marks all over the front of it. But this helps, you know, because it gets like a champagne glass. Like you're rubbing your finger along the top of it. It starts to make that noise, develops a resonance. These are things you do not want. We can walk away from this. We can go over and measure the other one and see if it's in spec. 21 is our spec, and we are at 23.56. And we can check that at different spots if we want, but it should be the same no matter where. So 21 millimeters is minimum. We're at 23 millimeters, so we got 2 millimeters to spare, which is a mile. Look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, okay. Well, this one's still on the lathe. We can check its measurements. 23.4. We'll machine this one slightly more than the other one. Well within spec. Well, you can say you were there for the first time Eric the Car Guy used his brake lathe. Yay! Of course, I'm going to be there with a shop vac for like 20 minutes later after shut down, cleaning all that off of there. That's just how I am. These are probably 30, maybe 40 bucks a piece. About 60 bucks. I would say easily 60 bucks we saved here. And this should eliminate the brake pulsation that I felt when I first drove it. Should. But I did check. I've got a video on isolating front and rear brake pulsations. I tried the rear. Didn't do anything. I tried the front, steering wheel shook. So that's a pretty good indication that the front rotors were a little bit out of true. So we just fixed that. And I guess I'll need brake pads instead of just running my mouth.
Obviously, you have to have a brake lathe to save that $60.
Yes and no. Because many really? Wrong brake pads. Not happy with this parts guy. Yeah, as far as having a brake lathe, many auto parts stores do have brake lathes, and they do the machining for a nominal fee. But that really depends on the person running it, how old the machine is, and everything else. Because I've worked with machines that were just pure garbage, and it was better off that you just replace stuff than it was to actually use that machine, because you were worse off than you were when you started. That is a fantastic machine. It left a perfect surface on those rotors. I couldn't be happier. I've also seen guys that just don't know how to use it right and completely murder things, machine them under spec. So I think that's the reason why a lot of people went to buying rotors instead of machining, because it took out that whole thing out of the equation. It seems with auto repair more and more there is a move towards taking the human out of the equation, because they are the variable. They're the ones that are causing cost overruns and everything else. They're the issue, if I'm honest. But right now, we have some human error on the part of my parts person, who I didn't like to begin with. I haven't used this guy. So hopefully he's gonna be able to hook me up with some brake pads real soon. Let's get on that. You sent me the incorrect brake pads, my friend. Yeah, you got CD637 on the bill. And I'm holding in my hand CD667. So you sent me the wrong ones. You had the right part number, but you... Awesome, thanks. All right, well, as usual with this, things won't go as planned. So we will now work on the Accord. All right, here's the story on this. You were wondering, hey Eric, what was going on with the air conditioning in that Accord? Well, I was chasing it down thinking that the computer was not allowing the system to ground. Well, I had forgotten that another issue on these is the thermal switch on the evaporator can sometimes be a problem. And if you sneak down in here, I'll show you. There are these 3 wires going into it. And if you ground, if I remember correctly, this blue-yellow wire and the system works, then this switch is bad. And we can actually verify that now before we go through all this effort, just by plugging in the new switch. Come to think of it. And this is there mainly to prevent evaporator icing. Now, in order to dump all this stuff out of the glove box, you just let it fall like that. But in order to properly replace this probe, if you will, goes inside the evaporator box and clips onto the side of the evaporator itself. I would have to evacuate the system, remove the whole evaporator assembly, and put it in there. I don't want to do that. I'm going to cheat it by drilling a hole in the side and slipping this through. But before I do that, now that I've got the new unit plugged in, I'm going to start it up and see if the air indeed now works. I just heard it kick on. And it does. So this was the issue. Is that a bad switch? Now, air's blowing cold. Yay! So now the challenge, oh wow, it's like we got 2 sets of keys here. Now the challenge is to get the junk back in this glove box, but like I say, sneak in through this evaporator case and put this new switch into position. Oh, also the screws on these glove boxes get loose all the time with this latch and makes it difficult to open. So if you ever got one of these glove boxes out, tighten these screws. I did it actually a little bit ago. Now, back to our regularly scheduled repair, already in progress. And one of the hardest things, I think, in repair, especially these days, is trying to find good information. And I had to dig around for a while before I found information on the test for that thermal switch, or just issues with the AC not turning on in these cars. And the computer was one, and so was the fan timer. But like I said, that wasn't the case here. Okay, finally. Okay, we go into the evaporator right here from our switch, which I think is just clipped into place. I'm sorry, am I trying to get in your way, camera guy? There's just a couple of screws on this evaporator case. There we go. I'll get my better light so I can see down in there. Which is plenty. There we go. I don't even need to make that hole. Well, our hole served as a good light hole. This is what we're getting. Because this sticks into the side of the evaporator, and this is the temperature sensor, and if it gets too cold it shuts the AC off so it doesn't ice up. So bye bye old sensor. Hello, new sensor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in. Okay, before I fully commit, let's check the AC one last time. I heard it click on, and it's getting cold. Okay, repair verified. You're like, Eric, what are you gonna do about that big old hole? All right, fair enough. Yeah, I know. You're thinking, Eric, really? Well, it's not like it's sealing back water, it's just air. So, big old piece of Gorilla Tape. My weapon of choice today. It's like never happened. See for yourself. This here is that fan timer, by the way, in case you were wondering. It's just clipped right here. That was one of the suspects. By the way, when I back probed that blue yellow wire, I just used a straight pin and stuck it in the back of the terminal. And that gave me the access that I needed. And I just used my power probe to run a ground to it. And as soon as I did that, the AC kicked on. I knew I had a faulty switch. So you can do it at home yourselves, kids. Good enough. Our work is done here. We move on to the next one, which we got our brake pads now, so we can go back to the Mazda. Yeah, we got the correct pads finally. Main numbers ain't so good. So, you know, stuff happens. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Just like new, freshly machined rotors. I think they're pretty. Other side. Doing a little different today. I want to torque these wheels, but I don't have a torque stick of this size, so I'm just going to run them all down. Grab my torque wrench, torque them to 80 foot-pounds on the ground, lift it back up, put the hubcaps on. And why am I doing it this way? Well, I just did the rotors. There was a problem with them being warped. If you over-tighten lug nuts, it can cause a brake pulsation. Just trying to avoid the issue. Could I have done that on the ground? Yes, but I have a lift. And in a very short period of time, it has spoiled me. Spoiled me rotten. But we're doing good work. We're not done. Two things. We removed fluid from the system when we push the pistons back. We also need to put those pistons up against the back of the brake pads, or else the thing's going whoosh, out the door. So we got to pump up the brake pedal and top off the fluid. I always top it off before I pump them up because I never want to run the master cylinder dry. That would be bad. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, and don't push the pedal all the way to the floor. That will also help save the master cylinder, just like part way. Got a brake pedal, yeah. So when you do front brakes, you can top it off to the max line. As the brakes wear, the brake fluid will get low, and that will help give you an indication that you need brakes. There's a problem right there, and I know that's going to cause some weird nose start at some point, so I might as well just take care of it now. I'm going to go throw it in my wheel weight jug because it's lead. I'm asking myself, this terminal looks a little big for that cable. What to do, what to do. I hate using these battery cable ends, but times like this, you have no choice. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. First, let's clean that up. I'm going to kind of do this backwards. I'm actually going to put the terminal on first. And just a little more. Make me feel comfortable. I think I know how to get it. I'm really beginning to dig these things. I'm like using them every chance I get. Okay. Yep. Give me just a little bit extra that I needed. If those are 10 millimeter, that would be too. No, of course not. Of course not. So I like using these on battery terminals just because I'm not really sure what size they're going to be. Done. We fixed 3 things so far. Actually, we fixed 4 things. There was a little video that we shot in between here about finishing welding up the exhaust on this. That'll be a different video. But yeah, that was also included in my day of, but it's kind of hard to shoot me shooting a video of something with the camera that I shoot the video. It's sort of a paradox, you know? You get it. We're done. This car go bye-bye. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to call Jeff, pick him up, bring him back here with the odor of that car, which is probably with Jeff, and those 2 can go away. And then we'll jump on Barbara's van. Hopefully, it'll just be replacing that valve and the receiver dryer, recharge the system, and bye-bye. Bye-bye. Apologies, viewers. There's just too much of this episode to cram into one time slot of Eric the Car Guy. And trust me, there's a lot more involved with Barbara's van than I initially anticipated, as you will see in the next episode. So sorry to cut you short, but that's the way it's got to be. Anyway, if you have questions, as I mentioned in the video, check the description. There's all kinds of additional information and links down there. If you have automotive questions, I'd ask that you head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. Welcome video there to tell you about the stuff we have to help you. If you wish to connect with me socially, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram. I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and I mean it. I'll see you next time.